hired fire truck from, I believe, Osgood, and the guy bought it and he sets it up and sprays. I don't know if it's soap foam or whatever it is, and then it just builds up foam on the street, and kids play around in it. They shoot squirt guns and all that kind of stuff in their bathing suits, and they seem to have a pretty good time. I know Hillcrest just did it last Friday.
We did it on the 3rd.
On the 3rd, was it?
I want to make sure you guys talked to them because we were told that they're actually closing their doors.
Oh, wow. Yeah, we talked to them today.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. Yep. Awesome.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
All right, I second it. All in favor? Okay, you
So
good to go.
If anybody, invite your family and friends in Oldenburg. We'll start spreading the word shortly.
Any more new business?
This is a new business. I've been here once before. The property that butts our property, we live up on 3020 Douglas. And on Water Street, the Shane property is not maintained according to the ordinance. That grass gets 18 inches high. We now have to spray, and we hired somebody to do it because we're getting all kinds of ground ivy. That property is an absolute mess, and it doesn't meet the rules. They just mowed it recently. I cannot believe that Oldenburg allows that to go on. And I mean, it's a sore spot, but over and above a sore spot, it's just like it's so tall, and tree limbs coming down from storms and stuff. Nothing's cleaned up. He has it for sale, but my God, how can he even have it for sale and build on it? Nobody's going to want to buy something like that.
And this has been a continuing problem.
It has been a continuing problem.
So you said it's been mowed recently?
Well, we found out that we were talking to the horseman that lives on part of that. Well, he has his property and they split it. And we talked to him. He didn't even say anything to us. He was all in cahoots and saying, yeah, I agree. And then we come to find out, I guess Shane hired him to mow it, some kind of agreement they have, but he only mows it maybe twice a year. It's worse than
Don't weed eat or.
No, nothing. And I'm not so sure that there aren't varmints in that building that stands open. The door, the windows, everything are open. It's just come one, come all. I know there's skunks. I mean, something's got to be done. He does some kind of better upkeep on that property.
So
it's not fair to the neighboring.
we were prepared to send a letter to him last meeting, but then we found that he mowed it. Isn't that correct?
Yeah.
Well, he has mowed it. He
don't weed eat or nothing. He just mows it.
Yeah, he
Mows
just
it
did
about
that
that
because he heard a letter was coming. That's all that happened. So I don't know what we can do to, that he maintains it according to the ordinance, because that we had rules in place with Donnie and Leona before they, I mean, it's on record. And everybody else keeps their property up, and then we have this, and then, you know, when it butts up to your property, it's really much worse because of all the ground ivy and stuff that's coming into play now, and things get so high, you know, and the seeds, and it just, well, you're up there, you're across the street saves you. It's bad.
Is there anything that can be done beyond the letters?
The town can pay to have it mowed, and then there's a procedure for getting it added to his property taxes, but the town has to put the money up on it to do it.
Well, he doesn't do anything to the back, does he? It looks like a
No.
junkyard back there. Trees growing up everywhere.
Eventually,
It's a mess.
Trees in the
It's just a
gutter.
we
mess.
can do we can start the ordinance violation.
But he can't sell it because utility board, he owes the utility board a bunch of money. So if he sells it, they won't turn the water on, so.
And the ordinance violation process is what?
Notifying him of all of his violations, and telling him he has 30 days to bring it into compliance or else get fined. And then if he doesn't do it, then we send him notice that he's been fined. And if he doesn't pay it, then we have to take it in front of the judge, who orders him to do something. And I mean, the ultimate end of that process can be an order from the court saying, Oldenburg, you can buy that place from him. But then
Right.
To keep it up.
Okay.
So I mean, that's the next step
Something needs
is
to
to
be
just
done.
be more stringent with him about,
Right.
instead of just saying, clean up your act, we'll say, clean up your, start sending him fines since
Okay.
he's not cleaning up
Well,
his
and
act.
even in the back, there's such a big pile of huge trim limbs and stuff. I don't know what he's gonna do with that. If he sets that on fire, with the Oldenburg Fire Department better be in place. Because there's so much crap
We'll have to
going on down there that it needs to be addressed.
That's what we'll have to do.
Okay, then we
It's
could
not gonna,
find him
it's
every
not,
month.
it's not gonna be solved tomorrow if he,
We understand
No.
that. It's been
If he-
going
if
on
he-
since he
if
signed
he
it.
doesn't wanna, yeah, if he doesn't wanna clean it up and would rather just pay the fines for a while, that's how some of these guys react at
Mhm.
times.
But then you get the judge involved.
Then you can get yeah,
Okay.
several months down the road.
But I think
we
it's
can
time-
Wind up in front of the
This has been
judge.
going on for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
time to
Longer
get
than that.
serious.
We'll get the Batesville City Judge after him.
Okay, that's one point. And then my other question is, I don't get to come to these meetings very often. I'm working. This is a Monday off, first one of the year.
Well, you'll be able to watch him on video now.
There you
Hopefully.
go. The other question I have is I hear there's been complaints and comments made about the people parking the wrong way at the post office. And our post office in this town does not allow, it's not very accommodating for those that have to pick up their mail. Because half the city gets it delivered and half of the city gets, half of the town has to go to the post office. When you go over there, because I've been there, I get mine delivered. But if I go for somebody, to pick up their mail, I like to know where you're supposed to park, because with the little coffee shop there and the people that live there, most of it's parked full. And I mean, if they're only there for a minute or two, they're just running in and getting their mail and bringing it out. Would we really consider fining people for parking the wrong way? I mean, I think that's a little harsh. Because otherwise, then we need to consider what we can do to accommodate the people in this town that do pick up their mail for better parking. Because that highway there, 229, is not a good highway. It's too busy for folks to be able to turn around. There's no turnaround. They park on the right, they gotta go
Right.
all the way down.
What I do is I go around the block and come back and park just east of the mailbox.
Well, that's probably a real pain in the butt for you.
It
though.
is.
Okay, exactly.
But but I do
So,
believe
like I
that it's
said, I don't have
safer,
to pick mine up.
it's safer for me to do that than to park the wrong direction and have somebody do that.
But if they park on the other street, it's not safe for them to even cross, because that's not a good, it's not a good highway to cross.
Mhm.
It's
There's
really
people
not.
all over town park on the wrong side of the road.
I'm
You know
just
that.
saying that I know there's been complaints about people being ticketed for parking the wrong way, and it's like, oh, really? It's,
I don't think anybody's been ticketed for that.
well, they sure shouldn't be. But what can we do to make it more convenient for folks that have to pick up their mail there? Is there anything
Put
we
the
can
post
do?
office in a
Because
different
even if
building.
the turnaround of
That's
some
not
kind,
us.
I don't know that the property even allows that.
Right.
But it would be very nice if something could be looked at to say, what can we do to make it better, safer for everybody, that nobody's violating the way you park, nobody has to cross the street. Because that's a busy street.
And that's why I go around the block and park the right direction, is because it is busy.
Yeah, but you're one of many. I don't know.
They're really restricted what they can do over there.
I bet they are.
There's just nothing, there's no parking available. There's no parking available in Oldenburg a lot of times. So the parking that they do provide is adequate. It does take a little bit more effort to get to it the right direction, but it's there and it's usually open
Where are you talking, Brian?
where they park the wrong way.
Well, I know, but like it's just bad, because if they park the right way, where the heck are they supposed to turn around? They'll live at Metamore, they live in Oldenburg.
Right.
They have to go pretty far down unless they go into somebody's
Nope.
driveway. I mean, nobody wants 100 cars turning around their driveway.
Right.
I don't know. It's not very accommodating over there. but they don't have an answer. Except those that are complaining about people parking away, wrong way, should hush.
Well, I would recommend that they go around the block and park the right direction. That would be my recommendation. I know.
Put up some signage
I
then.
know.
Not on the highway, we aren't.
There hasn't been an issue to this point.
Okay,
There's been a complaint or two, but there hasn't been any issues.
okay.
So, but that would be my recommendation, to park the right direction.
One last quick note.
Okay.
I had a meeting with Gary Munzel the other day, talking about Oldenburg history, and we were talking about the beautification of Oldenburg and what we do to improve Oldenburg for a reasonable amount of money, the biggest bang for the buck. And I offered the hill in front of my property that has a bunch of weeds growing up on it, but it's too cumbersome to try to weed eat that damn thing all the time. I said, I'm more than happy if the town wants to use it for perennial wildflowers like they're doing over there at Brum's Woods around 229 heading out to Ballstown, to have that whole hillside wildflowers. So as you're driving into Oldenburg, the first thing you see is wildflowers and the maypole and the beautiful city. But instead of just having a bunch of dang weeds out there that technically the state's supposed to maintain, but I'm saying if we can get rid of those the weeds and just put wildflowers in there, it'd be something to be fairly maintenance free and look good for the town. I'm offering it up if the city would be interested, or Fest or whoever, to use that hillside as something kind of aesthetic. Doesn't have to be talked about tonight, I'm just throwing it out there as an option.
How far up does the right of way go, Seth? You know?
For state road is 75 feet per center, if I'm not.
So I'm
mistaken.
just,
It's
I
up
know,
in-
I think you're right. I'm just saying, I can't really picture how far up the hill
It's up into the
that
yard.
is.
It's into
Because
the flat part of the yard.
Before we put a lot of money into it, keep in mind that the state has the option of coming through and ripping out whatever we do.
Sure, I mean,
You could petition them for no.
But it's not that, sounds like it's something worth looking at.
Yeah,
it's definitely-
We'll discuss it. And I know you can petition for no mow zones. I've seen that before.
Yeah,
But I mean,
can.
perennials are cheap, wildflowers are cheap, and it's really nice, I would think, so.
We'll look into it. But
Just
we,
gotta be careful with the drainage, because that's what our property is starting to look like
Right.
a gravel
I'm
pit.
not so
Because,
sure that this town will make way.
those,
well, no, I mean, I think it was beautiful. We just gotta be careful that it doesn't wash, because that's the issue we're having with our yard. So that's why
Yeah.
the stones keep dying up in our yard.
anybody else have any new business?
I actually do. I believe it's the end of Vine Street by the parking lot, the away parking lot. The German sign on top of the post has been missing for quite some time.
Okay, the street sign.
Yeah, and the post is there, but the verbiage is not there for the street name. And I know the one that's in the curve across from our house is actually, I don't know, somebody must have like hit it at one point. It's kind of leaning, it's not straight.
So that's at Vine and 229.
Yes.
Okay. Who has supplied those signs in the past?
Danny knows.
Okay.
We put them up, there's some extra ones down in the basement. But at this point, it's been mostly volunteer effort to put those up.
Okay.
Yeah, that should blow this down at the one in the park. That's from the fire.
Industrial, yeah.
Okay, we'll look into that.
Thank you.
Any other new business? Jeff?
This is somewhat related to old business, but as you recall, we recently had a group get together and form a committee to start an Oldenburg museum. And the Oldenburg Comprehensive Plan, that was the most highly sought after thing, was to preserve and protect our historic integrity. So, and a lot of people said, of all places that doesn't have a museum, why doesn't Oldenburg? So we got together and formed a little bit of committee. Freudenfest has pledged 20,000 to the startup of it. Recently we've been in discussion with the Sisters of St. Francis that they have a lot stuff in storage that's not in their downstairs archives room. And so Gary Munch and I have gone up there with sisters and started looking through some of the items that we thought would be really nice to be able to keep in town if we can. So graciously, the sisters are working with us with that thought in mind. And we have some other folks that have said, I would put this in, on loan. But I guess what we're looking at long term is this would be a volunteer effort, it'd be staffed by volunteers. Would there be any, could there be any kind of funding from the town in future budgets for whether it be rent, insurance, utilities, or any financial help at all? It's kind of where we're a whole lot farther. We've only made one purchase so far, and that's we bought 2 display cases. Vintage old, they're about 8 foot long with glass cases. They're beautiful. Thought it just fit the bill for what we would display them. So.
And where is the planned location?
Where the village vet was, since he's moved out.
Okay. And we'll certainly discuss it.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, we got, like I said, we've got the budget coming up in September, so we'll definitely discuss it.
Sure. Thank you.
Anything else?
Make a motion to adjourn.
I second it. Meeting adjourned. So are you here for a government merit badge?
Yes. I'm Ben. I'm here for citizenship in the
Community. Yes. Okay.
and I have some questions to ask you
Okay.
about the speeding issue.
Okay.
Can you tell me how long the council has been concerned about the speeding through Oldenburg?
That's been an ongoing issue for the last 2 years at least, probably longer.
Okay. So, did something happen to make other residents concerned?
Somebody moved in and started discussing it.
Is there something I can do and other people can do to help solve that problem?
Help bring the awareness that they want to slow down. Just spread the word that when you go to Oldenburg, obey the speed limit.
And is there something that me and my family can do about the corner to address cars that end in our yard?
What you and your family can do?
Yes.
I,
What about that lime green kids that plays?
oh yeah, they do sell those. They do sell those. Kids that play signs. A fence possibly, yes. But then you just be replacing the fence.